got y'all facing the wrong way, huh? There you go. It's a little better. Hope everybody is doing well today. I think it's what, the fourth Monday? February 4th. A week away from that, I mean, a month away from that, Friend Fest, 4 weeks away. Today is, I'm gonna be talking about a subject. Today's subject is borrowing. It's borrowing. Borrowing, like most things in life, it has rules. Like, you know, there's do's and don'ts, cans and can'ts. Now you can still do the can'ts, like in everything in life. You can still do the can'ts. There's not supposed to do and you can't do. You can still do those. But we're gonna say the consequences of doing the can'ts are very bad. I mean, it's very different. Oh yeah, you might be noticing the hair. Feel me? Got the hair did. You feel me? I've always wanted it. This is how I've always needed it. Yeah. But yeah. You feel me though? But talking about the can'ts, borrowing. You feel me? Some people, most people. Well, I can't even say it like that. They're all types of different people. And dealing with borrowing and asking, there's a difference. Borrowing, right? Okay then, my dog. Borrowing is asking in full respects that you will pay them back. That's borrowing is a contract. You're asking for a loan that you're gonna pay back. Now, what people don't understand is that this contract called borrowing is just like a loan. If you borrow them, and then nobody really pays completely back the loan. They don't. They just ask to borrow money, and they take a while. It take a while. Like they borrow $20. Like let's take my family for example. My brother for example asked me to borrow $20. It was detrimental to get them $20. Need them $20. Couldn't survive without them $20. But here it is. 6, 7 months later, and the same fervor that was used to ask for them $20, that same fervor ain't being used to pay it back. You feel me? It's like $20, but it was life defining to borrow it. But it easily forgotten. So, that being said, with the $20 still, it being 8 months later, you feel me? That $20 is no longer only $20. That $20 is now more like $25, $30 because of interest. Because the lack of interest in paying someone back causes interest in getting their money. And I ain't the type to threaten folks. I ain't the type to take my interest out that way. I'd rather you pay me back and show some love. Feel me? Like I showed you. You feel me? My rule number one in borrowing is if you ain't got it, you shouldn't ask for it because you don't need it. Because you have everything you need. And I do that. I say that because that's how I say it in my life. I have everything I need. If I don't have it, I'll go and get it. You feel me? And if I can't go and get it, I'm not gonna ask somebody to borrow anything. I just don't. That's just not who I am. Not the way I am. That's not what I've learned. What I've learned is if I have to borrow, I have full intentions on not only paying you back, but paying you back with interest because this is a loan. And I understand that. Which is why I never borrow. I don't. I've made plans to save money. I've paid my future taxes. I pay my future tax. I call it a future tax, but I pay money into the future so that I can have it in case I need it. I also pay money into the future for future businesses. and future endeavors, you know. And not a lot of people are on that, which is why people who ask and people who beg for money and borrow and ask for money will always beg and borrow and ask for money. It will always happen. I know they want to say it's just this one time. I know I done heard every excuse under the sun, but honestly, if you ask twice, you'll ask again. I ain't gonna say ask once, but some people really just get into a spot sometimes, which is why I said twice. Because it's gonna happen again. You're gonna get into a spot. You're gonna slip into a sinkhole. You're not gonna be prepared. It's gonna happen again. And what defines you is when it happens again. Are you gonna ask again? Are you gonna beg again? Are you gonna grovel again? See me, I asked, I begged, I groveled, and I did it again. I asked, I begged, and I groveled. I was one of those people. I couldn't do it, so I asked for someone to help me do it. Because I couldn't do it by myself. And they look at me like I look at people now. It's not really looking down. It's looking like it hurts me that you're in a place that you feel you can't use your own strength to get out of. You feel me? You understand? I mean, that's why I don't borrow. If I don't have it, I'll go get it, and if I can't, I don't need it. Because I have everything I need right here. And to get somebody to understand that's never understood that principle before, it's a hard thing, because it was hard for me. And that's another thing, like, people don't understand. I've been in almost every single road of life that you could be in. This little situation you going through, I've been there. The little situation you about to go through, I've been there. Yeah, that's right. I can tell the future because of actions. Actions never change. And if actions never change, they're doomed to play out the same movie. And I've seen all these movies out here. They all the same. They all end up in the same place because nobody wants to do anything different. They are running the same life. They're running the same circles. Running the same movies. You understand? See, and I've seen a lot of movies. I know the endings. So I've been able to formulate a plan to change an ending, which is these videos are a part of. You understand? Because in borrowing, that is begging. You can't get around that fact. You're asking someone else for what you do not have. That is the pure definition of begging. To repeatedly ask for something you do not have. And that's a hard place to be. Because I understand you don't have it. I understand it's hard for you to even come to somebody and ask it. If it wasn't life-threatening to you, if it wasn't detrimental to you, you wouldn't be asking, right? I know, I've been there. And you know, the sad part is that when you're in that place and you're saying all those things, you're lying to yourself. You're bringing yourself into that world which does not exist. You can change. It is not life-threatening that you need that from someone else. The fact is that you knew you needed this for a long time. You've known. You just pushed it out, pushed it away. You've squandered your time. You've wasted, procrastinated, squandered, and have been left unfulfilled. That's why I understand you thinking that, oh, you're in a rush, oh, you're in a hurry. It's because all those times you procrastinated and pushed it to the side and pushed it to the back that you need this. You need to get this when you could have saved it. You didn't. You got what you wanted, not what you needed. And that's a hard thing for people who ask for money. That's a type. That's not a situational thing. Like, it's a type of person who's asking for money, begging for money. They always will. until they change the type of person they are, which is what I did. I was becoming the type of person to ask, to beg. I couldn't do it on my own. I couldn't feasibly do it on my own. Didn't see a way. I needed help all the time. And I looked down the road of being that person. I couldn't continue to be that person. I can't. That's not who I am. That's not even who I want to be or who I can pretend to be for a minute. You feel me? So now I'm this person. Now who I want to be, right? Word up, true that. You know that. Fam. Now I'm the type of person that sees opportunities. I see an opportunity to pay into the future for a question mark. I see an opportunity to pay into the future for a business. I see an opportunity to live life. Right? True that. You feel me? And that's what I've been doing. And I'm even documenting it in these like this, step by step. Anybody, what you want to change who you are, pick up, you want to become a better person. So you don't have to beg. You don't have to ask for help. You won't need it because you have everything you need. Now, asking, like I said, asking and begging are two different things. Asking, you ask, they give you an answer. And regardless of what that answer is, you accept it because it's their answer. And you're asking for something that is theirs. It's not your place to repeat. It's not your place to ask. You've got your answer. You either say there's only one thing to say, thank you, and move on to whatever future you allow them to create for you. Because you have given up your power to create any type of future for yourself. The moment you opened your mouth and asked them for help, now they are your God. And you made them that way. Now they are your. Now we gonna be Greek with it. Now I ain't gonna rough you up. I'm gonna let you know. This is the reality of it. You have created them a god of what you call money to yourself. That is the momentary money god for you. You're praying for them to deliver you and give you what you think you need. Something that is of no value at all. And a prayer is just like asking. Except you don't hear an answer to a prayer most times. If you're praying to something that isn't physically here most times. But once you create a god of someone to be your god, demigod of money, whatever answer your demigod gives you is a divine answer. Whatever they say, that's the divine lineage of, that's the answer. May not be the answer you want, may not be the answer you need, but it is the answer you got. It's the answer you have to accept. And that's where asking ends. Asking is fun. Everybody can ask a question. But when asking turns into begging, and repeated asking, that's when that's when what they call the wrath of God. That's when it becomes wrath. That's when you had your answer and now you don't accept your answer, so now you try and sway the demigod into changing. And at that point, who is it good for? It's not good for you, because now you're groveling. Now you're lowering yourself to be what you're not. And that's what begging is. Lowering yourself. Making someone else a demigod. to you. And me, I'm a powerful being myself. I don't need to make somebody greater than me. Of course, I try all the time, but that's a different story. Sometimes you gotta make people greater than you around you, so everything around you becomes better. But that's a different story. That's another subject for another day. But that's the difference between asking and begging. Now next time, now also another rule of asking. There are a few questions you have to ask yourself before you ask someone else. One of those questions is, when you're asking, have you ever done what you're asking someone else to do for the person you're asking from? If the answer is no, that's an automatic strike. You can't ask that question. But like I said, in life, you can do the can'ts, but they come with severe consequences. Severe. And every time they come with severe consequences. And now, what's that? Rule number 1, have you done it for them? Rule number 2, have you, if you have done it for them, has it been in the last 5 years? Answer is no, you haven't done it for them in 5 years? Automatic strike. Can't ask that question. Like I said, you could do the can'ts. They come with severe consequences. And then you got the last question, number 3, of asking. Now, if you've done it for them before, you've done it for them within 5 years, last question is your intention to pay them back more than what they gave you. If the answer is no to that one, and that's the final strike, you can't ask that question. You're not going to pay them back what they're owed, which is plus interest. And that's every time, because that borrowing is a contract. And it's not borrowing unless you ask once and they say yes and give you. That's borrowing. When you ask multiple times after a few no's, they give in. That's begging. That's the difference. Understand? And if you're begging, you're lowering yourself, becoming a servant to someone else, a peasant to someone else, making someone else a god to you. That's what you want? Because every time you beg, that's what you're doing. That's why my motto is, if I don't have it, I don't need it. Or, well, if I don't have it, I can get it. If I can't get it, I don't need it. So I have everything I need right here. You understand? I think that'll conclude for today. So as I'll wrap this up. I am a person that no longer begs. Won't do it. I rarely ask. Rarely. I'm talking once a year I may ask. Won't do it. Because I got everything I need right here. Y'all enjoy the rest of the day. Be excellent to each other.